Greetings and salutations, mighty Vikings. Welcome to the grand finale of our Rogue Trader saga with Kormakr von Valancius, our Arbitrator. Dual shotgun build, full-on dogmatic. Oh man, it's kind of scary, sad, but also intriguing, because when one door closes, one story compiles, another one opens, so we're gonna soon have a chat what kind of project we're gonna tackle next, as we're gonna finish also very soon Pillars of Eternity.
Keep your wits about you.
Necromore is standing all around. The Xenos is not showing any signs of aggression, simply staring ahead. That is very odd. That's highly suspicious. Them just standing here. But is he having a flyby or just crashing? Wow, he actually crashed. What the frick is going on? It's amazing how big these structures are.
I always keep my options open.
Let's keep the options open. Let's keep it moving. They're all just standing still. Oh my goodness gracious, look how many they're walking down there. The resurrection or starting initiative is fully going. The ruin. A rending shotgun. The warrior can make a free attack with this weapon if the shot from the rack on the same turn. Oh, the rack and the ruin. A dual shotgun. Wait, what? Wait, what? I think we found ourselves some new shotguns. Astral Currents. In the first round of combat, the warrior gains the following benefits. Plus 20 movement points. The warrior's movement cost is not affected by threatening arrows. The warrior's movement does not trigger attack opportunities. Oh my goodness. Okay. I think we got ourselves some new weaponry. So the wielder can make a free attack with this weapon if he shot from the rack on the same turn. The rack and the ruin. Dual shotgun pistols. Solid projectile. Rending shotgun. Rending shotgun. What? This is insane. Whenever the warrior performs a heroic act, they recover all their wounds and gain plus 2 AP this turn. On the first round of combat, the warrior gains the following benefits. Movement points. Not very sold. Not very sold by that. We keep it as it is. Heavy void suit. Armor 85, armor deflection 7. The warrior suffers less damage from arrow and burst attacks. Armor against human enemies. No. Last stand. Block chance 40. While the wielder has less than 4 traumas. And then adjacent allies still in combat, the wielder wounds cannot drop below 1. Maragon shields. The wielder's incoming damage is reduced by minus 20. And damage dealt to Xenos demons is increased by 10%. Yes. Very good. So, you have no armor. When in cover, the warrior has 100% cover. Whenever the warrior uses a grenade. Boots of cockskin. Astral current. Let's switch them up. Beautiful. Tesla grenades. We want those. Immobilizing. We want some flashbangs. I'm gonna go for some Tesla needs. I'd love some automated refill. That would be great to have there. But it is what it is. Okay. That sounds like loot. No loot? Okay. I would have expected a dude to have some loot on him. So... some good stuff there. The journal metallic drones from a painful and melancholic melody, but one that oozes with venomous spite. The armored plates sing in an unknown language. You did not decipher the language of the ancient Xeno race. I wonder how you can decipher it. I recognize a leader. In a true warrior. In this one, yes. Still a Xenos, unworthy of life, but a warrior all the same. I bet this noble madman of the battle will fall by my hand. Except this creature. Destroy this creature.
Your kind has no right to exist.
Exactly. You're right. Your kind has no right to exist. So. First I will boosting. Then
I won't object to it.
Making Thor stronger. Beautiful. After that we are boosting I think Argenta. Yeah, let's boost Argenta. I'm gonna run up here. I can charge. Straight up dive. Gonna endure. I'm gonna be stalwart towards you.
We are enemies.
Some of the death mark. Okay. So first up, armor penetration, Argenta. That is your thing. Then we're gonna make our master stronger by every path he takes. I'm gonna let him run. I'm gonna let him come and defend wherever we are. So I'm gonna move behind him. Yeah. Gonna move up here. I'm gonna attack my dog to come over and protect.
I'll see to it personally.
Perfect. I'm gonna tell my dog to go over and attack the creature. I'm gonna tell it again to attack
Who
the
if
immortal.
not me?
I'm gonna shoot from this side and shoot again from that side. Blinded immortal.
Twice before crossing me.
Insignificant. Significant.
Oh my goodness. The shots.
Consider this a taste of what's to come.
To me.
On it.
Flashbang on it. Beautiful. That was a nice little poke of damage. Good. I'm gonna charge head forward. Boosting the doggo. Same as I. Setting him up there. And then telling him to apprehend the creature. Making me walk up to him. And then dash.
Accepted.
Behind. So I could go and apprehend the Blighted Immortal for 170. Bite him again. But he did not die.
Significant.
Shooting both. He's not biting him. He should be biting him.
My collection.
If you ask me, there should be a biting out of him. Degraded defense. Whenever a character deals damage to an enemy, the enemy suffers a stack of degraded defense. So, Pascal. Moving up here. Relocating. My wonderful little thing. Medicaid signal. Publication signal. Oh, just one now. My bad. Machine spirits. So, let's shoot through. With 5 on him. And we're good to go. So, Argenta. 1460 HP, right? Gonna Reckless Rush, Devastating Attack, Rapid Fire, the full program, and Controlled Shot. Yeah, that was 1400 and something. HP correct? Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. What the freak, Argenta? It's not funny anymore. Blinded Death Mark. So, move up there. Reloads. Take a shot. Gonna do a run and gun.
Faith.
Good. Over here. Reloading. Activate the hymn. And we're good to go. Ulfar.
The fame-hungry come.
Can I even charge that far? I can. Okay.
By claw and fang, the foe will be torn asunder!
There we go. 500 damage there. That was good. First fire. Devastating attack. Boom. Swing you into pieces. Coming down here. Another burst fire. Exactly. Exactly.
I'll put my psychic abilities to use.
Let's boost Glyto. He's repairing himself a little bit. That is all. So
I'll see to
concentrated
it
fire.
personally. I'll make...
There we go. Completely obliterated them. Dynasty Notebook. Okay, apparently there's a way to decipher the Necron language. I'm curious if that locked to Iconoclast.
Is there money to be made?
Maybe a different approach than Dogmatic. Mind Killer Staff. Some blood leading down. I have to say I like this kind of like nano-organic growing ridges and whatnot. Tanakia. Her body does not appear to have any external injuries. It has been maimed from the inside out. Her flesh was transmuted into metallic shapes. Hey, can you hear me? You... Who... That coat of arm rings a bell, Von Valancius. I'm not as surprised to see you as you may think. Why does my coat of arm look familiar to you? Oh, I should know. It was the uniform my agent wore. The ones I sent when Kalkazar took an interest in her ladyship Theodora's retinue. They didn't wear them for long, though. When I presented Theodora with Kalkazar's ultimatum, she purged her retinue of our operatives. I'm fairly certain Theodora would have preferred to have my head as well. But the Lord Inquisitor recalled me to guard this treasure cave. The Drukhari have come to this world. Why? The Xenofreaks, my favorite partners, they had a crucial role to play in the operation that you mustn't know anything about. Their visits to Epitaph have left me with so many unforgettable moments. We were ordered not to fire on them first, but to split them into atoms if their skinny asses deviate so much as a single degree from their approved flight paths. I swear it was as if those fools were trying to get shots with their half-witted provocation. They even had a nickname for me, the Almost Witch. A compliment, I guess. How did you people infiltrate the retinue? A feint, a deception, a game of double and triple crosses. When they told her they intended to take revenge on Kalkazar, she believed them. She was just too eager to get back to the Lord Inquisitor for taking her clever Archmagus advisor Amarnat. You know Kunrad Voigtveer? Not sure if he's still alive, but back then, he was Theodora's Master of Whispers. In theory, he should have been the one out my operatives as spies, but instead he thought that they were his chance to pull off a brilliant plot and prove to his mummy how great an heir he would become. Oh boy. What was the ultimatum? Merely a message saying that the dirty secret was now our dirty secret. She was the first to visit Epitaph, and she found something here. Something too good even for someone of her exalted status. Well, I'm her heir. You have to excuse me for not looking surprised. My facial nerves seem to be partially paralyzed. I know enough now. Thank you kindly. Who are you, by the way? Tanakia Calveria, Inquisition Acolyte. I'm looking for Calcazar. Where is he? At a facility in the crypt, making preparations for the emergency launch of the operation's final stage. At least I hope so. Or he's already dead. One of these two. What facility? What operation? I guess you're still young if you don't know that in this world, whenever the big boys and girls see the word facility, well, that almost always means a colossal secret weapon capable of destroying worlds. Let's see. Have I sated your curiosity? Then I'd like my favor in return. There's a pack of IHO in my breast pocket. Give me one. You can keep the rest. Companions, what do we do over her? I suggest granting the Acolyte's Emperor's peace in honor of our years of working together. You've always been so sentimental, so attached to your colleagues, your hair, your eyes. Oh, I'm sorry, is that still a sore point? Give her the cigarettes. Good. You're old enough to know that these are for you, right? Stick one end of the tube between one teeth and light up the other. Just make sure to do it the right way around. Let's be straight with each other. You have nothing to hide now that you're dying. What is going on in this place? 30% persuasion chance. We succeeded. Wow. Straight, huh? Let's give it a try. I've taken a shine to you for some reason. One day Xavier decided to immortalize himself in history in a rather extravagant way. All for the Imperium's sake, of course, but then things didn't go as expected, even though we expected that they wouldn't. And now, you've better be far away from here, because whatever happens next, I doubt you're going to like. Or you can go down there if you have got the guts. Maybe you'll immortalize yourself too. That's what I would do, but I'm insane. So I'm not the best example to follow. So about that IHO stick. Enjoy. People say it's bad for your health. Better be careful. This is where it all ends for you. Is that an act of mercy or revenge? Mercy. Rest in peace. I find it funny that the bodies are dying before the shooting is happening. How many shots do we do? Poor thing. Poor thing. Ooh, what do we have here? Sanguine Thirst. Blood Fury Cloak. Whenever the warrior kills an enemy with a melee attack, your attack limit is removed until the end of their turn. But every one of their attacks also deal 10% of the warrior's maximum wounds direct damage to the wearer. Interesting. Full auto shotgun. This weapon has a burst attack with a rate of fire equal to the number of shells in the magazine. When the wielder uses it, they become staggered. What? A burst fire shotgun? Dude. There's some psychopathic crazy builds that you can pull off. Just looking at that. That's a psychobilly freakout. What the hell is that? Sentinel. Okay. Well, let's go have some fun with the Sentinel, I guess. The bear is barely holding. Prepare for defense. In the name of the Golden Throne, hold the line. For Arcadia. The Xenos Knight lets out a changing howl, portending imminent death. Screen shake. So, let's just start the battle. Because then we can buff a doodle-doo. Strength.
Let's see to it.
For some strength. Let's give some boost and whatnot to Argenta. And me, I'm gonna go over here. And I'm gonna charge
But of
this
course.
Necro and take him out. And then I'm gonna yell at you. I'm gonna go the defensive stance. And probably put some enfeeblement on you as well. So. And Argenta is gonna come over here. Gonna make a reckless rush. And approach devastating attack. We're gonna do all the nice buffs. And shoot at it. It has how much HP? 1,400. Is this disgusting? I think we ended it in one turn. So, wildfire. Let's do it again. Let's do it again, but from this point of view.
The enemies of the Emperor will be undone!
There it goes. I can walk all the way up there. How many NP points do you have for Genta? This is not normal. Girl, this is not normal at all. Just saying.
Rejoice in battle!
I'm just saying. So, steady security. Take a shot. That one is dead. Run and gun. Take a shot. That one is down. And we're good.
Great sleep is over. Awakening.
Good. The fire took it out. We have a sniper up there. So, the only thing I can do is boost my doggo. Tell him to protect here and then charge over to attack that Necron. He bit it. So I'm gonna
Let's
bite it
test
again.
our skills, Glato.
Killed it. Could run up there, but won't happen or won't help. That means we are going to accept. Nice little shot. A lot of dodging. Do I have aim to the dude upstairs? Let's move up here. Let's put some points on him. Dismantling attack. 140 something something. Spirit of the machine.
You will not undo me.
Nice. Straight up took the Necron out with the Machine Spirit Banishments. So 200 something something. I'm gonna move up here. So So, close range. That should
Is
normally.
as good as
Significant.
There we go.
Reassemblement commencing.
Nice. Really like this pistol. So, apprehend. Get it, boy. 360. Jesus. Okay, move up there. 49. Casting attack. Nice shot. Run and gun. Moving closer. Take another shot. The colossal warrior, formidable under frame, can no longer bear his weight. With armor plates clanging, its great bulk slumps, a deep sound of full rage. Do not decipher the language of the ancient Zero race. You notice the convulsion in the Xeno's limbs. The light, it's flickering in his eyes. Perhaps something went wrong during this monster's awakening from the stasis, damaging the engrams and plunging him into madness. What are you? Xeno's limbs shiver at the sound of your voice. He emits a deep hum full of pride. Your watch is over. Whatever that was, it didn't sound nice. Oh, we're pulling out our pistols down here. Xeno dies with a piercing howl of wrath. See, some of the things are a little bit out of sync, if you ask me. The glyphs upon the walls become chaotic and disarrayed. Something just broke in the script. And we leveled up apparently as well.
rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
So, before I go through the barrier, let's quickly level up. A dash. Consideration. Yeah, to run to my doggo. That would be nice. Wouldn't it be nice? Ballistic skills. Willpower. Perception. Let's go for willpower. One last point of willpower. Perfect spot. Good agility. Heinrichs. All allies affected by the word of the Emperor heal. Psychic power costs 50 momentum, can only be used when momentum is higher. Until the end of combat, the weapon in the Psyker's hand is replaced by a sword made of sheer will. Sword of Faith. That sounds intriguing. I would like to try that out. I would like to try that out. And give me a point in strength. So, another dash to move even further. Why not? More maneuverability. We like it. Toughness. A dash. And strength. Actually, weapon skill. So you hit better. Good. Onwards. Deactivate the shield. The Lord Inquisitor is expecting the Rogue Trader. He just punches the thing. There we go. Going down to Epitaph. I'm very curious. Ooh. What in good lords is that? Looks like under the hearts of this whole temple, or something is in there. Looks like I'm facing clones of myself. An Abelard, an Idira. Reality bubbles before you and bursts with an agonizing shriek. You are sentient creatures and not mere eidolons. I suggest you back down without a fight. I do not come here to claim your lives. My master, change of ways. Is this your making? No, I can feel it. You're not playing tricks on me. You are sending me prey for a great sacrifice. Is there some ironic lessons in what is going on? Should I be looking in the mirror a little less? Look at where the doppelgangers came from. A blatant abuse of fabric existence causing the motes of reality to flare at you. You seem the only one who doesn't want to pick a fight. I do not enjoy pointless violence. Power and authority can always be used for more worthy purposes. So what brings you to this dangerous place, most peaceful one? Duty. I do not know what exactly Xavier has in mind, but judging by his past actions, it will be ambitious and terrible. He must be stopped. Your doppelganger resolutely clenches his fist around an oddly shaped wraithbone talisman. The Eldari wear such amulets as a token of a special bond with someone, or a token of remembrance for the dead. Why do you care so much about other people? I've been taught some harsh lessons. When Kunrad stagged the coup, I was badly wounded. Abelard nursed me back to health, and so did the entire crew. They looked after me and the Protectorate for months while I was in limbo. When I awoke, I vowed to do that exactly, to protect my people. Hello, Glater. You do not have as many scars in my reality. Perhaps that is because I convinced your master to leave his service in the Arbites. Traveling with me can be dangerous too, but at least I always have your back. I'm glad to hear he's doing well in another world too, but I'm even more glad that you did not drag your Solomon here. I would have hated to raise my hand against Glater, even one who is not my dog. What is your reality like? I think it has less bloodshed than yours. I brought peace to the expanse, soothed the flame of Incendia's seal, and stopped Caligos from falling to violence. The two of us even managed to become friends. I sheltered the Eldari refugees and convinced them to join forces to fend off Drukhari. I granted pardon to the Parites and Renegades who strayed not out of the malice, but because they had nowhere else to go. Calcasa called me a heretic, but no one paid heed to his castigations. The Fellowship of the Void became a respectable merchant guild. Vladiam shed almost all his thuggish habits. but died when Xavier turned footfall into a colossal projectile, which he crashed into Ephrata 2 after it was captured by Uralon. Thousands died that day, but tens of thousands were safe. And I welcome them to Dargonis. Is this potential outcomes that can happen? I have no more questions. The situation just become complicated. How are we going to resolve it? There's no choice but fight. Well, fight it is. The Emperor's with me, and that means you are going to fall. Indeed, rogue traders are doomed to forever feuds with one another, such as the power of the poison called ambition. Abelards, the virtuous. Cute. So. Let us buff. Boom.
I won't object to it.
Make that happen. I'm gonna give Ulfar some movement boost and enfeeble these two.
There is movement in the Imperium.
Foreboding, forewarning, analysis. Sworn enemy. Nice kick there. Oh wow.
Oh, Emperor.
We took Argenza out. I'm excited for this fight. That happens rarely. That happens very rarely. Calora's reflection. Yeah, you gotta be my target. So, advanced tracking. Run. Apprehend. 236. Good. If I shoot normally, that's 200s. That's the normal shot. He dodges. Keep an apprehended. He dodges again. There we go.
Unpleasant.
Unpleasant, he says. See if we can knock him on his ass.
Bloodied, yet still standing.
Not happening. Okay. Flashbangs. So let's give Ulfar a little bit of a boost. And we're good to go. Ulfar, if I go over here and then charge to Dira, yeah, that is enough.
Stop it!
If Dira needs to die, ASAP. So, rapid fire, devastating attack.
Is thunder! My
Good.
strike is ruin!
I could attack her again. Or made a wildfire. Let's do the attack.
Feel cold.
Now kick her.
High momentum.
And she's gone. Good. We've dealt with Adira. Let's move up here.
Glato,
tracking.
we're undertaking this task.
We're
See what a
overcharging Glato.
Cybermastiff is capable of. One of us would be enough.
500s. Nice. Those are really good points. So let's do a nice shot. He dodges.
Brace yourself, Abelard.
He dodges.
I defy you.
Here comes the bites. Apprehend.
Unpleasant.
Apprehend again.
Is that my blood?
Maybe. Run and gun. Another dodge. Wow. Would have not thought that that is possible. Forward defense. So tactical analysis. Then we are
My vow is to serve.
working in Abelard, Machine Spirits, Medicaid Signal, Intimidation, and shooting through Abelards. And lower the damage on the one in the back. So, Heinrichs. Kormakr gets some boost. Heinrichs also gets some boosts. Nice parry.
I could use some help. I'll endure
He
this.
tried to move away.
High momentum.
Argenta, you're back on your feet. There'll be an attack opportunity if I go. I'm gonna risk it nonetheless. So,
I'll do it.
I'm gonna buff our burst fire.
To more conservative tactics.
Completely destroyed.
Guided by faith. Doubt is for the weak.
Reloads. Holy shit. This damage output is so insane. Wildfire.
Bloodied yet still standing. One step ahead.
That's all you've got!
Nice try. Okay, he went for Ulfar. That dude up here is still standing. I'm gonna move around. So we're gonna apprehend. Power bite. Shot number one, he's dodging. Oh man, am I angry.
I'll see to
Knock
it
him on his ass.
personally.
Still standing. Shot number two. Again dodges.
Can't be happening.
He's dead. He's dead, you malaka.
High momentum.
So, Ulfar. Charge that dude down there. Okay, copy 1 is down. So like that dude left. Solomon, give him a shot in the face.
Understood.
Or not.
Let's test our skills, Glato.
How great to blind him then. Wowzers. That was a nasty hit.
Blessed be the hand of the healer.
Clear yourself for Genta, and we have another level up. Okay. I mean, I get it. It was quite intense fights. Critical velocity. The character's critical hit chance and critical damage is increased by 5% of their dodge. We have quite the high dodge, so yes. We want that. Wait, I don't have quite the high dodge. I thought we were in Argenta. My bad. Melee attacks. When the target's pushed while the characters collide with the enemies or cover, both the target and the objective suffer damage. When else taking an extra turn given by the character that deal more damage. Nope. The enemies have 0 deflection or 0 armor against the character attacks. Suffer 10 additional damage from the character. If the enemy has both 0 deflection and armor, those damage bonus stack. The character gains 4 bonus to armor penetration, dodge reduction, critical hit chance, damage, and parry chance. Know it all. Grab it. Know-it-all and Ragged Ruin. Attention. After an ally takes an extra turn provided by the character. Nope. All damage is increased by 3. And enemies damaged by the soldier's area attack suffered 5 extra damage. Nope. Unpredictable. Master's Patronage. What could it be? One-shot batons. Throw grenades for free. Better die for the Emperor. And an extra AP. Good. Combat medication. As long as they have no ranged weapon. But we do have many. Pinpoint accuracy. There we go. Tide of Excellence. When the operative triggers an exploit on the enemy, the operative gains +1 damage and armor penetration until the end of combat. Only applies to the first strike or projectile in a burst attack. Stacks. Pascal gains dodge reduction and parry reduction with melee weapons. Unseen support with his silver skulls. Heinrichs, what do you want? What do I give you? Invincibility. The wielder gains +2 deflection if a shield is in the current weapon set. Yeah. Even more. Sanctified Slayer. There we go. Argenta. Death Dealer. We're taken. And Integrity. What was a Death Dealer? And let's go for Integrity with him. Wreck and Ruin. Nah, Integrity. Extra movement points. Force Axes. Forbidden Signs blaze in the vid screen. Someone has placed a seal of silence to the conjugator. Connect to the memory core. Eliminate. Is that Kalkazar? What kind of memory did we see here right now? Somebody was fighting. A two-handed plasma. Every attack with this weapon has a separate cooldown. Interesting. Each of the single attack gains damage for each negative attack on the enemy. Bam. Okay. Is that better than what you have? It has 60 armor penetration. His armor pen is higher, but yeah, no. I wonder if he can wear that in one hand. He can. Nice. Good. Other than that, we're fine with the loot. Let's have a look over here at the items.
I always have
Nothing
a
there.
backup plan.
No loot from that imposture. What do we have here? Exitus Longlast. Jesus. Relic Silencer. The word does not lose the elusive effect if the attack from cover. I have to say there's some amazing sniper weapons in this game. So, getting in there. Okay, some sort of turret is shooting. Rosary of Defense. They regain 0 chance to ignore incoming damage. And the chance is based on numbers of unyielding beacons stacked. So, looks like the game wants me to go down here. Demolition.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Explodey Pooty. Is that the way? Is that the way to go? Whoa, 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 whoa.
I always get the job done.
That was nasty. It was kind of sneaky there that the turret moved around. I thought it would only be a frontal thing. So, still quick heal.
Be strong. Greater trials lie ahead.
So, with that, we're gonna refill our bags. And we're good to go. Meeting the Lord Inquisitor. Anti-vehicle revolver. Carskin armor. Heretical. Melt the weapon. Nice. Some really lovely items. The Inquisitor awaits. Oh man. All kinds of servants around here. Xavier. I see that you did not heed my warnings. Your decision to come here in spite of them may have consequences, but we still have a chance to turn everyone's advantage. If your lordship listens to me very carefully. Master von Kallax, I'm pleased to see you. How is your journey? Illuminating, Lord Inquisitor. The line you're treading is a dangerous one, Calcazar. Stop this madness. You are the one who is attempting something mad and dangerous by acting with insolence towards me. By the Emperor, I am in no mood to squabble with a rogue traitor, not even with your recently installed lordship. Is that what you're here for? What is it? We call it a shard, and yes, you have noted quite aptly. It is the reason I'm here. This construct contains an ancient, or rather, pre-ancient being of cosmic power. They were called the Catan. The entity is currently trying to escape, and I'm here to color it. A fine plan, apart from it being insanely audacious and get anybody certainly killed. I command your ability to face the facts with your without fear or prejudice. Prejudice. English is a hard sometimes. How will taming this creature help save the Imperium? Over my years of service, I've come to realize that the main problem that humanity faces is the war of imbalance in power. Our opponents are not races or nations, but incomprehensible monsters. And it is high time we acquire one of our own. My yoke will bind this creature and make it chained god serving the Emperor. That is not the full extent of my vision. There are other shards similar to this one, scattered across the galaxy. I plan on seeking them out and confining them all inside the yoke. Each conquered monstrosity will bolster our defenses. The protocols dictate that the Inquisition is beyond the authority of the Adeptus Arbites, but not only have you put yourself above the Lex Imperialis, you are playing God. I swore to keep order in the Empire, and now I'm just supposed to stand by and watch you do this? No. Given the circumstances of our meeting, I do not see why I should hide anything. I surely doubt you will share this information with anyone else for one reason or another. What do you call the Astartes that come for your aid? I needed a remarkably strong force to keep my Xenos allies in check. The Emperor's Angel were just the weapon I was looking for. Except considering the sensitive nature of my operations, I could very well risk requesting aid from my allies in the Death Watch, could I? And then I remembered an old debt owed by a Space Wolf great company, so I decided to call in a favor. They were an asset first. The Wolves helped me close the dimensional gates by overwhelming its security systems. I tasked them with hunting the Xenos condemned by Irimeris, but eventually they started prying, and that was unacceptable. I could control Thorvald by giving him more tempting targets, but the baleful Hull Pack, they raided an outpost where my agents had been meeting with the Drukhari. The pack took prisoners but lost the esteemed brother Ulfar. I hoped they would have given their all to search, but instead the wolves forced the system coordinates out of the captives and came crashing down on my head. They had no gate to transport them. They used nothing but their warp engines. Thankfully they realized their situation too late, so Tanakia managed to neutralize them. You will pay for this, Xavier Kalkazar. Know that I will have my blood vengeance. I will have your death. Thanks to your predecessor, I arrived at the Expanse at the call of the Explorator's fleets to deal with the Archmagus Amarnat heresy. But I quickly came to the realization that the Cronus Expanse problem ran much deeper than the tech heresy. Unprecedented piracy running wild, blatant smuggling, xeno artifacts, impious rogue traders, and growing threats of the ruinous powers. Frankly, I considered purging the entire Expanse. It would have been easier to burn down this whole tangle of threats and corruption. But the web of spies that I had woven presented me a much more interesting and radical solution. While investigating Amanat's connection, I turned my eye to Theodora von Valancius, who ultimately gave me the shards. How was Theodora involved in all this? Well, her instincts were uncanny. She spent decades hunting for a key that could open the dimensional gates, as if she knew that there was something incredible waiting for her on the other side. Her ladyship was lucky enough to discover the shards during one of her expeditions, a trophy that was too much for her to handle. Archmagus Armanat studied in Theodora's behalf and created weapons in exchange for access to the dangerous relic. But their research was too primitive and ambitious compared to the true power contained inside the shard. Had one of my acolytes, Nakia, sent her spies to Theodora, they infiltrated the rogue trader's retinue, earned their trust, and reported to me about this magnificent object. The rest was trivial. I seized Epitaph and laid down the condition of our further coexistence. She was wise enough to concode defeat with dignity. I commenced Operation Precious Sentinel. I left the garrison of Epitaph, took their key to the dimensional gate from Theodora, sealed the gate, and started creation the yoke. It is unfortunate that I was not privy to all the details of this plan. So instead of eradicating Theodora's misdeeds, you choose to inherit them? What is the yoke? It contained a device similar to this one, except better. It was made in Euphrates II. I captured Amanat's student, Axiomantha, and she passed all of her mentor's draft to me. And the one overseeing the process was one other than your acquaintance, the tech priest Cubis Delphim. His fall was regrettable. but the human mind could never have comprehended the shard alone, and thus I appealed to inhuman minds. I struck a deal with the Drukhari. Theft of sacraments and secrets of the Adeptus Mechanicus registered. Inciting a devout tech priest to commit heresy registered. Blasphemous merging of secret technologies with forbidden ones registered. Further transgression. Registration discontinued. You collaborated with the Drukhari. Alas, the operation demanded it. Through the agents of one of my acolytes, Emelina, I contacted Archon Yerimiris and made a pact. I gave her access to technologies contained within this relic and destroyed her rivals in the Cabal. She would relay information on their raids to my spies, and I would solve the problem. In exchange, her homunculus Cerventius forged the yoke for me. Of course, I did not let him near the shard itself, but rather set up a laboratory for him in Quetzaltimar. It was safer that way. All the pieces were contributing to my plan. So that clone facility was your doing as well, as I thought. You disposed of Emelina like unwanted rubbish, like waste material, after all her years of faithful service to the Golden Throne? Unfortunately, I had to send Emelina away and remove her from the board. A shrewd woman of principle, I used to value those qualities of hers, but suddenly they started to get in the way of my plan. Nothing can excuse consorting with inhumans. Trust me, your lordship, the threat of the alien pales comparison to the post by the ruinous power. Eurymers could plunder 1,000 worlds, but she is no Uralon the Cruel. She was a great danger to her own kin, as she was to the Imperium. The disruption she caused among the Drukhari was only to our benefit. Knowing full well how precarious her grand plan was, I made no attempt to talk her out of it. With little luck, we wouldn't have need worry about a Komarov influence. It was dark day when you dropped from under the tail of your rotten wound, mother. Your loathsome traitor. While we were fighting to exterminate the Xenos, you were busy carousing with them. Had I known sooner, I would have ripped your pitch-black heart right out of your chest. I readily believe that, since we were being so candid. I must note that you've proved to be much less convenient tool than I had anticipated. This new information about the pack, combined with the astro-observance data collected this star system, resolves identified earlier. Unit Xavier Calcazar stands accused of stealing the astrophatic records of the continent fleet. I'm amazed by your analytical prowess. Yes, I indeed needed the stars to feed the shard. The cabal of the reeling tempests could steal them and bring them here, but it was imperative to preserve the exact energy parameters. So, as not to trigger the object of premature detonation, I procured the necessary information on suitable stars from the Explorer's Fleet's data scriptorum. So you're the one who's stealing the suns in order to feed it to this whole prison. Registered a Category 1 blasphemy. Unit Xavier Calcazar is hereby sentenced to dissection, and study. And then I take it you decided to get rid of the Xenos allies. There was no more need for them, seeing as the yoke was almost complete and the situation was escalating out of control. Fidor was dead, the cult of the Final Dawn had reared its head, was preparing to strike, and Ramirez had forgotten her place. She was putting forward too many elimination requests, and when I told her to curb her appetite, she retaliated. The theft of the Reinhardt Star was timed to occur when Master von Kellogg's would be on the planet. The Archon wanted to rob me of one of my agents and send a message. What? Racket's son vanished because of me? And then the Cronus Expanse was engulfed in flames. I had to rush the operations and declare sector-wide martial law. The webway gate that the Ramirez warriors had been using was destroyed, and the facility on the Quetzaltimar razed. I evacuated the half of the yoke that Cervantes had completed, but it was too late to retrieve the second half from Novartis II. Cubis Delphim revealed to Uralon the Cruel where he should strike, and that almost spelled the end of the Operation Precious Sentinel. You sentence everybody to death by sending Drukhari after the sons. Well noted, yes, I acted as their executioner. As regrettable as those losses were, however, to overestimate their importance to the Imperium would have been folly every single day. I see. You've come so far to pursuit of answers, it would be cruel to leave your curiosity. Seeing as the inhabitants of this place almost killed you, I gather that something went wrong with this plan of yours. Not at all. Operation Sentinel is in its final stage. Theodore research established the Shard's prison, and my project only made it worse. Whenever particles of the Catan Shard energy seep out, many curious phenomena occur. And that brings us to the most interesting part of our conversation. You know, my plans, so I want to know yours. Will you admit that I am the right to join my act? Listen to yourself. What you're planning is heresy. Enough. It will only be heresy if I lose. If I prevail, it will be a triumphant feat in the name of the humanity. I will not let this insane plan fruition. Heinrichs, eliminate the rogue trader. Say nothing. After a brief pause, Heinrich knocks and responds, "It's, I no longer recognize your authority, Lord Inquisitor. My apologies." In that case, Heinrich von Kallax, in the name of the Emperor, I hereby revoke your inquisitorial privileges and declare you excommunicated traitorous. The punishment for heresy is death. I bid you farewell. Farewell then. I'm glad to have made your acquaintance. Despite everything, eliminate the rogue traitor. If you say so.
Your arrogance will be your downfall.
Show them no mercy.
If you say so. Start a battle.
More trouble than it's worth.
So, that's one. That's two. One down. Boom.
Weapon at the ready. Follow my lead.
Cultists are buffing.
Run!
Nice strike.
Let's make it quick.
Inquisition Mystic. He's buffing like crazy. So, Solemorn. Shooting them 3 dead. Buffing the doggo.
Glato, we're undertaking this task.
Let's go for the Mystic. So, reloading.
Want some more?
See
One
if we
of us
can
would be
make
enough.
Savior drop to the grounds. Didn't work. Good. Run and gun. Beautiful.
Out of my way. Hold on. High momentum.
Plasma overcharge area tank. So let's buff the attack. Let's make sure that we have a control shot. So I'm not shooting my own people.
A born predator does not become prey!
Quite an interesting defense there. Meester. Did shoot the doggo down though, oddly enough.
I'll do it.
Good. Second. That's done. Thor's back on his feet. Beautiful. Gonna go advanced tracking. Gonna go for apprehending.
Who, if not me?
In the full Shura. So
The best defense is a good offense.
shot number one. Shot number two. Shot number three. Down he goes. That priest should be quite easy to deal with. Position veteran. He's one who might be problematic. So he's on his ass. Go next to him. There we go. Beautifully. That's how I like it. So let's buff Pascal.
I'll make it happen.
Here we go. Let's get to it. Let's get to it.
Let's say we have attack tries there. So Pascal. Xavier is in front of you. So let's go a little bit crazy on him.
Let the cycle be discontinued.
Let the cycle be discontinued. Second attack. Attacks bleeding of the targets. Beautifully. So, Ulfar. That dude is as good as that. Inquisition veteran as well. Remains only. Gain full mystery over here. Kick him in the face. So, rapid fire. Devastating attack.
Cubs play.
Very good. It's a nice attack. So, Heinrichs.
Naturally.
Oh, gotta boost your attack a little bit. How much HP do you got? 700, and that kills you, the charge. It should kill you. but it doesn't.
Not sanctioned to do this.
I'm just gonna shield bash him.
Break them around.
Nice try. Where is he? So seems to be running off.
Let's make it quick.
I didn't bring Glato up. My bad. So moving up here. What we missed. There we go, just burn them. What have we got up here?
My
This
gut
fella.
tells me it's a bad idea.
He down. We have one over there. Beautiful. And then we have one more over
it.
here. Okay, we've done it.
No, it is too early. The yoke must be activated, or all is lost.
Is that so, Kalkazar? Oh boy. Nomos! This is it, the place of our origin. It was your strike and your wish to escape your prison that begot us. But it is you who truly ushered us into this world, so let us meet our abominable precursor together, for it is ready to break free. Greetings, Nomos. We're out of time. It escapes now. That's what we're getting when Inquisition is doing stupid things. Oh boy, he looks so badass. Well, there goes our Inquisitor, just burned out. Huh. He suffered a burnout.
You dare cross an agent of the throne?
So, stop the shard, dude. Good. Start a battle.
I won't
Everybody
object to
gets a
it.
buff. Wolf gets a power.
Everyone, step aside.
Gonna move up here. I'm gonna charge up there. And I'm gonna make a defensive stance. I'm gonna swing at you. Parried. That's fair enough. Some enfeebling you.
The threads of purpose so lovely.
Okay. A little bit of damage. What did he just do? Did he just teleported my people? He just teleported my people. With dog or without dog? Where's Thor? Thor's over there. So let's boost the dog a little bit. 139. Can I get him closer? I'm not gonna use that power of movement. But a running gun, that could work. Moving over here. So he has a 13,200. One of these shadows dies. Still 1,300, 200. So, what is the purpose of these shadows? Do I even want to take them down? A short copy. Structural vulnerability. T-shirt suffers deflection and armor for each stack of structural vulnerability. Okay, so for every shard's copy that I destroy, he gets a stack of structural vulnerability. Okay, so the more stacks I kill, the lower his armor goes. Got it. So, move it over here. Devastating attack, reckless thing, full on.
Faith without
Buff.
deeds is worthless.
Oh my goodness. How much damage was that? The yoke. Okay, somebody's trying to capture it or so. With reloads. Get another shot. Oh my god. It was like 8k damage. Energy orb. So,
As the
reloading
Emperor
again.
commands, I act.
Wildfire.
Opponents cannot damage a star.
Orb is gone. I'm gonna move over here and do a run and gun.
I refuse.
Activate calculated fury algorithm.
So, melee hits. So, gonna go for machine spirits.
Cannot damage a star.
Machine spirits. He's down to 5k. Let's give him a shot. 350. That's okay. So, Solomon. Woof the doggo.
The threads of purpose unraveling.
Basic. Bleep dance. Double shots here. Keep on binding.
Fleeting moments of integrity. Gone.
Powerful bite. Can we knock him down? Yeah, it's an easy mean to that. That's your point. That is fair. So let's improve stats. Devastating attack, controlled shot. Not sure what he's doing here, but I'm not liking it. Take the victim's place. Okay, something happened to Ulfar.
Let's see to it.
I'm not very happy about it. Reckless strike. There we go.
I need a foothold. I won't.
There we go. He has now how many stacks? 8 out of 10.
For the Inquisition sends their regards.
1k. And down he goes. Well done, Heinrichs. And so we've imprisoned it in a huge green Pokeball. The ancient monster struggles against the energy manacles. You are the cause of these hindrances. Only now, those the Catan shard turn to focus to you. For the battle was nothing more than the reflexive resistance of an alien mind absorbed by a completely different range of thoughts. More and more tears appear all over the shard's form as the yoke absorbs its power. Do not bow your head before the abominable precursor. It was begotten by the dark abysses of the past. Allow us to change it. What the frick? Is yet another layer of reality cracks. A figure appears before you. After giving you a probing approval look, Theodora permits herself a slight smile. Nomos? If our birth ever had purpose, then it is here and now. Why do you call the shard your precursor? Because it is what it was, and what we are. We have told you before about Theodora's ambition, Amarnad's mind, and the ship's cradle, and Epithar's secrets. One sprouted into another, and spurred yet another. Thus Nomos were born. What do you intend to do? Clash with the precursor, touch it, absorb it. Do you think you can do this? We stand at the threshold of probabilities and outside the bounds of predictable. But we're poisoned to die trying. I see. I've made my decisions then. Face Nomos. Act now, my child. We are ready for the most important battle of our life. Wish luck. I wish you luck, Nomos. Fingers crossed. Works. And I made the right decision here. If not, we're doomed. The power of the Catan shard is such that it redefines the very notion of power, but it has a weakness. One that you can see only now. With the shard, its rival standing face to face, the shard is just that, a shard. It is incomplete and not whole, and cannot be what the Catan was before. What opposes the shard is something entirely different, an undivided, sentient being with a clear purpose on mind. The battle goes on, outrunning the course of time, but you do not need the gift of clairvoyance to know who will emerge victorious. This is so badass. I hope Dark Heresy has a lot more of these wonderful, wonderful cutscenes. And so it looks like we have reached the end. Let's see the outcome of what happened. The Cthon shard was transmuted into a new form, and their name was Nomos. Possessing the power of the ancient being and nurtured by the rogue trader, the young star god watched over the Corona's expanse, their new domain, with curiosity. Gathering its bleeding worlds together, the rogue trader restored order to the expanse without compromise, protecting the faith and leaving behind any notion that region could ever be beyond his righteous justice. An expansion began that would slowly turn the sector into a new province of the Empire, where rogue traders were no longer needed. The subjugated deity in the House of Valence's service ensured that the Imperium's firm grip on the Expanse's throat. By eradicating enemies and unbelievers, the rogue traders bestowed a gift upon the sector of faith in the certainty of retribution. Perceiving themselves as an entity deeply beholden to the Emperor, and the very least an account of their unholy existence, Nomos exterminated corruption with extra zeal, sometimes raising entire worlds. Weaknesses of human nature, such as doubt, mercy, or self-loathing, were unknown to the God Emperor's perfect beast. Oh my boy. The news from the Expanse was met with deep concern in the Imperium. Some began speaking of a punitive campaign, though they quickly fell silent. A lone ship broke through the Great Rift, carrying a letter to Dargonus bearing the Inquisition seal. But what that letter contained and who penned it is better left unknown. Strict abidance by the law of devotion to the Imperial Creed brought great renown to the rogue trader. Every planetary turn, over every world in the sector, thousands of prayers were offered to the Golden Throne, praising the name of the guardian of the Corona's expanse. Legend has it the God Emperor himself favored his steward, granting him miraculous powers to crush evil and shielding him from enemy plots. The truth is that the ecclesiarchy in this battle to control the narratives and the Imperium persecuted those who spread such tall tales, as well as who demanded that the rogue trader be proclaimed a living saint. In sending that Jordan continued her merciless fight against the heresies plagued the Expanse. Not concerning herself with notions or jurisdictions, she brought the Imperium's justice everywhere she went, killing heretics by the thousands. Stained glass windows, with her likeness illuminated by bonfires, graced the sector's chapels. With her tightening grip of fear, the prayers of the pious became ever more fervent in the reverence of the gracious Chastiser. After openly embracing the patronage of the Skull God, Caligula's Winter's Guild swept over the Expanse like a fiery tornado, bombing peaceful planets and destroying wood ships. His dynasty realm became a nest of piracy, heresy that required immediate purging. Thanks to the patronage of the Von Valence's dynasty, the cult of St. Drusus was successful in spreading its influence across the Expanse. Hieronymus Doloroso remained the most revered priest in the cult of St. Drusus. He turned no one away, hearing confession from pirates, baldrats, deserters, and beggars alike. It might have been one of those undeserving wretches who infected him with the rare form of leprosy that dropped him off sight, yet his heart could always see the corruption in the souls of his repenting children. So lost his eyes, poor thing. The deal struck with the conjugate's fleet, and the Von Valence's dynasty replenished the explorators' dwindling supplies and allowed them to re-embark on a rapid and unrelenting expansion campaign. With powerful bases established in the Expanse, the Omni-Messiah scouts briefly ventured forth towards unnamed stars, with the same drive that propelled their ancestors to explore the Expanse itself. The schism of this continued cycle engulfed the entire conjugate fleet, and soon a civil war was over. Disregarding the commandments of their forefathers, the explorers started down a dangerous path of new comprehension, creation, and revision of procedures and algorithms. The fleet was united once more, and in this unity, it was ready to steer down any horror standing in the way of the maintenance and operation. The Crescent Expanse dealt a serious blow to the business interests of the Fellowship of the Void, Having no powerful allies, they retreated into the darkness of frontier systems. The hard life they faced there forged them into a new tribe, furious, wild, and willing to do anything for survival. They swore to return and retake what had been once theirs. After losing Ryza and her closest associates, the Fellowship of the Void soon fell into a bloody and messy succession crisis. The fighting was so brutal, there could be no doubt that whoever came out of the victor would be a much greater threat to the Expanse than the reckless, deceased pirate ever was. Violence throughout the Expanse put many to their ground, and as a result, the Cascabilla mission's business declined. Soon rumors surfaced among the cold traders about a so-called commission that had made it through the Maw into the Expanse. Its professed purpose was to audit assets and take measures to restructure operations. These words carried with them an ominous threat. When Octaviana became the new leader of the mission, she made every effort to not end up like Vladian. The mission leadership demanded profits, and Chorda's enforcers thirsted for blood. Octaviana's dilemma sorted itself when one day all of Footfall's cold traders were arrested and herded into the Adeptus Amasecus. The ship was undocked from the station and left to drift towards Furibundus, with no fuel and almost no air. Octaviana was not on board. She had made a deal to turn over all her accomplices, and she disappeared with a fortune in thrones. A multitude of agreements bound the Imperial Navy to the Vandaland's dynasty. Captains were eager to patrol the Protectorate, knowing they would be richly rewarded. Competing ships were lost to pirate attacks and subjected to harsh inspections. Chartist Captain Asterius Thorfast founded the Forthast and Companions Merchant Company, excelling in trade and acquiring a substantial escort fleet. After 3 decades, he traveled to the Maw to return to the Imperium in hopes of obtaining the fabled warrant of trade. It is not known how this venture ended. Interesting. The Gunners grew and prospered until it became the capital of the Cronus Expanse. The planet was like a giant magnet, whose pull held together the world of the Expanse, absorbing the treasures and vices of the sector. Humanity was exploring the Expanse, and Dargonus became the capital for the brave starfarers and pioneers. Kiavagama washed off the stain of its former defilement and became known as a pious, productive world. The enthroned Null Caliph drew millions of pilgrims and granted the planet hallowed status. Its sacred calculation continued for centuries, and the foremost sages of the Adeptus Mechanicus traveled to the world so they could attempt to divine its meaning. Janus was conquered, the Xena spirits were exorcised, and the wilderness was subdued. The fields grew until they covered the entire planet, and billions of tons of provisions were harvested. Janus had become the breakfast basket of the Expanse, and to threaten it would be to condemn millions to starvation. The dark rule of the Seeker of the Forbidden was established on Janus. While terrified serfs toiled in the fields of the lofty castles, wise renegades studied the knowledge of the Xenos, learned the filthy language, and embraced their culture. The Mistborn of irrigation devices hid the evil work from righteous. The mines of Vebus 6 grew deeper and deeper. Soon the planet became the darkest and most frightening colony of the Expanse. The final stop for the exiled and the damned, the brutal, hardened inhabitants of the Death World, feared neither humans nor xenohorrors, knew no mercy, and were known as the most fearsome fighters in the sector, who had traded their lives for the right to leave the eternal darkness in the mines. Garden luxury places or palaces were built under the climate domes, shrouded by clouds of poison. They housed so many powerful blackguards, persecuted aristocrats, and wealthy scoundrels that Weber 6 gained an unimaginable political influence. Such grand and sinister deeds were done there that before long, the grim Death World was spoken of as the new political center of the Expanse. No longer secluded and forlorn, Falstone turned into the spiritual center of the Expanse, clad in golden power. Rulers wanted to anoint for the great Converted into the Comet Shrine, Falston's moon spread the word of Saint Ignatius throughout the expanse. Protecting the worlds from attacks by the enemies of humanity, its servant asked for neither money nor power. The feat of the pure-voiced prophet, guardian of the hallowed crucible, was a sad one. After visiting 7 worlds and bestowing the blessing of transformation upon them, he perished at the hands of bloodthirsty Drukhari pirates. With the fall of their unholy patron, the Edge of the Daybreak, the cult of the Final Dawn perished as well. Every cell of the cult was hunted down and eliminated. Left without a mission or a leader, the world bearers retreated in the depths of the Immaterium. The last act of vengeance was a bloody assault on Footfall. The populace of several asteroids was exterminated or enslaved, and the statue of the God Emperor was badly damaged. The great judgments of Incendia Chorda and the atrocities committed by her confessional units bled Footfall dry. The station soon faced a labor shortage, and a few survivors of the religious purges could handle the increased workloads. Without thrones from the cold trade, the station fell into decay. Footfall entered an era of piety, hunger, and hardship. Left without a sun, the Rygad system ceased to exist. Its now frigid planet spun away into the darkness. No longer held by the gravitational pull of their stars, the central leader, a fragment of Rygad Minoris, entered the Furubundu system and was snared by wood miners. A piece of this rock was delivered to Footfall with reverence and used in the restoration of the God Emperor statue as a final memorial to the world devoured by corruption. After Rogue Trader's departure, the fleet arrived on Tessara equipped with hypogen material extractors, intending to destroy the cursed mineral in its entirety. But with every block of Tessaratorium the fleet obliterated, the planet's denizens wasted away as well. Small animals were the first to die, then the world reeled from a series of epidemics, and soon afterwards its people lost the ability to procreate. Few made it off the doomed worlds, only to wither away under strange stars. So apparently that material in that medieval planet was bound to the life essence of everybody there. Interesting. Rumors of the rotting remain of an Eldari craftworld spread around the expanse. Explorators, privateers, and Cascabilla agents, and anyone hungry for easy money, all rushed to Frontier System to vie for a piece of the prize. Some were swallowed by the warp, while others perished in skirmishes with their rivals. The most skilled and fortunate returned empty-handed after decades of searching. The colossal ship, as big as an imperial world, simply vanished, as it had never existed. But the legend of the forbidden treasures lived on and continued to bring daring souls to ruin. Half a century later, the expanse trembled to the echo of the Eldari war songs. Myriad warbands appeared out of nowhere, leaving a trail of bodies in their wake before disappearing into the webway gates. Masterfully hidden from the eyes of the Marquis, the children of Asurion had come to avenge the death of the craftworld Krudarok. Their woeful retribution lasted many decades until both races were war-worn and out of blood to spill. Ooh, look at him. Somewhere on the underside of reality lay Komorath, woven from manifolds of the dimension and illuminated as always with the light of the stolen suns. Its street ever filled with screams and agony, any misfortune experienced by the Dark City became another scar on its appalling face. Lost among thousands of other vile blasphements, as long as pain pulsed its blood-soaked spires, the unshakable Komorath continued its flight throughout the webway. After the Rogue Trader's visit, dimensional rifts opened around the spire of the Reaving Tempest, flooding the streets of Komorath with demons. This incursion terrified Komorath. The Cabal of the Black Heart managed to stop it, but some Archons saw the event as a sign of their leader's weakness. Others interpreted it as a grim omen for the entirety of the Dark City. The fall of the Cabal of the Reaving Tempest united Komorath for brief and bloody moments. The elites of the Dark City set their squabbles aside and found a new game in the tearing apart of the domain. the fate of the Reaving Tempest reminded the other Cabals that nothing lasts forever in Dark City, save the city itself. Leaving the Necron systems behind, the Star God eventually obliterated every tomb world of the ancient Xenos race. The old hatred of the Catan, betrayed by their deathless servants, whispered inside him. Following Letha's destruction, its tithe ended up in the tenacious grip of the Administratum. The clerks stashed the wealth of the Kronos Expanse away in warehouses. The fearless leader, a decision was made to transport the tribute across the Maw, where the barges carrying the immense wealth were lost without a trace. The voice of one Voxmaster Victis was long heard in the Kronos Expanse, trumpeting the arrival of the rogue trader. It brought glad tidings to the faithful and instilled horror in heretics awaiting righteous retribution. After her death, Victis granted the honor of being immortalized in a herald servo skull for many centuries to come, who have always praised the Von Valances dynasty, transmitting orders across stacks. Wow. Master Helmsman Ravert allegedly executed his duties until his dying day without once succumbing to sleep's sweet embrace. Only when a piece of shell penetrated the bridge armored hull and was stopped by the stern officer's unyielding chest did he finally know rest, leaning against his trusty helm. Wow. Sacrificing his health and diligent service to the rogue trader and letting his waistline expand even more, High Factotum Janus Stanrock watched over the dynasty's riches for years. The day his body was found sprawled over paperwork in his office, his assistant came forward with 2 reports. The most esteemed Janus has passed away on natural causes due to complication of weakened heart. And, as regards US assets, everything is in order. Wow. Starback carried on her service as Master of Arms, maintaining order on the decks. Zachariah Weiss turned his shame and repentance into an iron chain binding his soul. Cold and detached, he would never again take a personal apprentice or become close with a subordinate. He dedicated himself to impeccable service, unfailingly carrying out the Lord Captain's orders. Vladyam ended his days as a maintenance servitor in a janitor team, losing his life due to an error by a technomant who sent him to clean a compartment scheduled for decompression. Oh wow, he became a servitor and then died because he got shooted into space while cleaning toilets. High Overseer Grigoris Strak of the Vebus 6 rendered his duties with a zeal unfettable to the common minds. Under his leadership, the panel world became a paragon of order and a place of incarceration that criminals feared more than death. Strax spent his final years in a small, damp room, disturbingly reminiscing of jail cell. Ruben Drivestem cared more about preserving the influence of his line than the well-being of the Protectorate. His blind ambition lost him his governor's seat and respect of the family. Makarios Starback was loyal to the rogue trader to the last, despite all the rumors to the contrary. Finding little affection among his subjects or family, he stayed true to himself, remaining a forthright, severe and pious person. Over the years, the elder Starback even grew close to the rogue trader, at least as far as such as a cold and ill-disposed person could. After proving himself dutiful and merciless, he became a warden of Dargonus. Members of the House of Versarion served the dynasty faithful and loyal. Amassing more and more power, a century later they had finally gained the respect enjoyed by other noble houses. Yet power and luxury can dull any blades that now pampered and idle aristocrat were scarcely recognizable as the descendants of the Seneschal Versarion. For reasons unknown, members of the Viserion family found themselves time and time again as targets of assassinations, victims of riots and focus of palace intrigues. Clementia Versarion, granddaughter of the Abelard and Chancellor of Dargonus, executed her duties irreproachable and even found time to school the younger generations of her family. She was an equally skilled mentor, chancellor, and political operative. The retribution that Nocturne of Oblivion promised the rogue trader arrived when relentless Eldari avengers swept down the Von Valance's protectorate. In their wake, several Harlequin troops performed the monstrous and mesmerizing bloody melody of coals fading in the night that bathed Janus and the sorrow and fury of the playwright in horned mask. The savage deeds that Gordy Skatov witnessed on Footfall traumatized him forever. His architectural genius was shattered. Only rare collections of true connoisseurs held his work. Footfall, the ultimate void. Voidfarers shared grim tales about the Von Valance's flagship. Monsters dwelt in the bowels of the vessel, they whispered, and from time to time the servants of the monsters descended to worlds and stations to spread corruption. Many generations later, the Great Rebellion of the Genetic Abomination shook the expanse. Mutants born of the profane xenodisease revolted at all of their fearsome four-armed angel. The Gonus, the glorious capital of the Von Valance's dynasty, was lost, cleansed of genetic abomination once before. It was now tainted by it again, this time forever. After becoming a breeding ground for mutants, Gonus proclaimed its faith in the many-armed emperor. On a high throne in the rogue trader's palace, a scaled saint from the distant stars slumbered. In his dreams he spoke to his progenitor and sensed that he was approaching. What? We lost our Gonus to mutants? Jesus. Having completed his last journey with the Lord Captain, Abelard Versarion, with the gracious permission of the rogue trader, left his post as seneschal. After the Battle of Epitaph, Argenta was firmly set on the path of the sister Repentia. The former favor and zeal gave way to grim, cold resignation. She longed for death, yet death seemed to flee before her former companion of the Lord Captain. Or perhaps she just could not find a worthy opponent. So things carried on until one day, while fighting heretics on an uncharted world, Argenta threw herself into a massive inferno to strike down a horrendous warp spawn. Her comrades saw only shadows in the fire and heard the beast's dying bellow. The flames burned for several days. When it finally subsided, Argenta's body was found among the charred rubble, lifeless but untouched by the fire. In one hand she holds her chainsword, in the other a shard of the golden Aquila she had always kept close ever since arriving in the Expanse. Or the body of the second spinner Kabila disappeared, and none were the wiser as to where. While her soul remained beside the throne of the undying emperor, legends speak of a dark figure that sometimes disembarks from the flagship in ports. They say it is a woman who no longer has a soul. They say bloodless corpses are found in the port slums, sometimes after the ship departs. Many untrustworthy legends are told and retold in ports across the Kronos Expanse. Heinrichs, the former interrogator, took the mantle of the Lord Inquisitor after his mentor's death, receiving both Inquisitor's rosette and the duty of defending the sector from the enemies of humanity. Mon Calyx became the new warden of the Kronos Expanse. After laying his hands on the instruments of mass destruction, the Inquisitor announced a crusade against the many heresies of the Expanse. With no regard for lives lost and no mercy for smallest of offense, he purged the region with fire and sword, uniting thousands of fanatics under his banner. When Inquisitor von Calyx's time came to an end, he left behind a massive retinue of acolytes. One of them assumed his mentor's mantle when the Inquisitor fell, fighting unknown Xenos in the galactic south of the Expanse. The Lord Inquisitor found the most loyal ally in Incendia Chora. She clearly became a lethal instrument of retribution. Interesting. Cassia experienced all the hardship and delights of the galaxy. The invaluable experience and new knowledge helped her to finally conquer her fears. The Lady Navigator became a novator of the house, tasked with addressing the consequences of Tisiphone's rule. For the duration of her reign, she patiently worked on uniting the feuding branches of the house. The Starway Atlas, which contained the memories of Tisiphone and Setala's clan, lost its power. House of Sellers Navigator once again had to rely on skill alone in the depths of the Immaterium. Many lost their lives, but those who survived the crisis became hardened veterans and pillars of the house. Idira Tras, the Psyker of the Van Valence's dynasty, disappeared without a trace when her fate was entrusted to the agents of the Holy Inquisition. In announcing the discontinuing of the cycle, Amarnad Collective instilled terror in the hearts of those who revered the theorems of purity, but it gave hope to others. After gathering the disciples and recruiting several soldiers from vassal planets, it ventured to the worlds of the Screaming Vortex, to the infernal forges of the Dark Mechanicus. This march of redoctrination was meant to seize the stolen secrets of the Omni-Messiah from the hands of the heretics, temper the cult in the fire and of battle, and transform into a tool for both eradication and comprehension. The fleet disappeared in the darkness, and only rare echoes of its astrophatic messages were ever encrypted. Years later, Solomon Anther became marshal and quickly tightened the requirements for all arbitrators. They were now expected to be beyond any reproach whatsoever in both thought or deed, as well as aesthetic and religious degree. Under their great marshal's leadership, the Arbites became a true bearer of the Emperor's divine light. However, the lack of new recruits from across the Maw would also doom them to extinction. After Solomon's death, the arbitrators continued with their duty honorably until they too passed away one by one, leaving the Coronis expanse without their ever-vigilant oversight. Wow. So because he was too zealous in his approach, they died out. Abelard and Solomon Anther spent most of their meetings playing regicides, to which the Seneschal had introduced the Proctor. Meticulously recorded by Abelard's adjutants, their games soon found their way into collections of the best ones ever played in the Expanse. Interesting. When the first officer of Reserve passed away before he could finish the last match, Solomon attended his funeral in full dress and regalia and placed a regicide piece on his grave. Due to the demand of the Magus Hanuman and Marshal Amthar parted ways. During the last meeting, Pascal made a few final modifications to Glyter's design, increasing the Cybermaster's service life severalfold. Whether the gift had any impact on Solomon is uncertain, but on more than one occasion, having his faithful dog at his side would turn out to be his salvation in even the darkest of days. Ulfar. After joining the Stormbiters, Ulfar van der Lang soon became the pack leader, taking the place of Phobalt, who met an honorable end. The new leader sent a message to the Fenris stating his intention to remain in the Expanse. There were too many enemies yet lurking in these hunting grounds that deserved the Allfather's wrath. Legends paved the formidable pack's path in gold. Years later, Ulfar found a battle in which he could meet his honorable death, but the warp was suddenly torn asunder, and ships from Fenris bearing the mark of the wolf came to his aid, saved from the battlefield by his loyal companion, Halbrand. Ulfar accepted the honors of the Dreadnought and was entombed in sacred armor. What? He became a Dreadnought? Poor soul. During the blast ritual, he cursed and demanded to be left to his death, but his brothers merely answered with mirthful laughter. When he recovered his senses, Ulfar led his forces to the heathen stars. The Allfather had given him a new mission in the near-death vision. No one in the Expanse has heard the word of the Space Wolves since their departure, yet many believe that one day they will return victorious. It is rumored that the true cause of Thorvald Ironhide's demise was treachery. Faced with a superior enemy, the Space Wolves called their allies for help, but a nearby squadron of the Cognizance fleet withdrew, defiantly broadcasting the blood debt to Archmagus Amarnad is not forgotten. Oh wow. Such was the echo of the deeds of the rogue trader, deeds that transformed the Cronus expense and prepared it for events even darker and more violent. But those are a different story. Thank you for accompanying on this journey. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a blast. What a crazy story. We've lost our Gonus. Everything went down the shitters. At least we tried. We tried to stay true to the behalf of the Emperor. But we ultimately failed to see the big picture as a rogue trader. I'm curious what the, if you want to call it like that, good ending would be. I think a Iconoclast taking care of everybody might be the good ending. Or maybe there is no perfect ending. Because the world is grim and dark and crazy. Mighty Vikings, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot for joining us for this full playthrough of Rogue Trader. I'm heading out. It's late. I overstepped my time because I wanted to finish. And as you can hear in my voice, tiredness has also struck. I wish you all the best. Thanks a lot for watching. And I'll see you in one of our other series. Feel free to check them out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and jump into our Discord. Until then, your Kormakr. Ciao for now.